The Chancellor has urged Labour MPs to defend her budget. Measures announced yesterday include raising taxes by £26 billion. It means 1.7 million people will find themselves paying more.
Dear reader, it is time to be honest with ourselves. The British economy is in desperate trouble. Despite what politicians pretend, you can see for yourself that nothing works anymore. We have non-existent growth, higher energy prices than anybody else in the world, taxes at a post-war high, £100 billion of annual debt repayment, and uncontrolled immigration that is draining our nation. And that is just the record of 14 years of Conservative government. If things weren't bad enough, we now have economic chaos and a tax-raising budget under Starmer and Reeves. Whose side are Labour on? For almost 18 months, they've been coming for pensioners, homeowners, savers, small businesses, anybody aspiring to a better life. Even if they promise something today, they will take it away tomorrow. No wonder a record 250,000 ambitious people fled the United Kingdom last year. These clueless politicians have never run a business, have no idea how the real world works. Thanks to them, I would not be surprised if a financial crisis causes an early general election. When that election comes, Reform UK will be ready. We will proudly be the party of Alarm Clock Britain, defending the hard-working taxpayers who keep this country running. Reform will strive to make work pay and will be on the side of small and family businesses. We'll reduce the bloated welfare state, slash red tape, raise the threshold at which you start paying income tax as soon as possible, and cut Britain's energy bills by scrapping crazy net zero targets invented by Boris Johnson and Ed Miliband. None of this will be easy. I've made it clear that we cannot promise immediate tax cuts until we tackle the debt crisis created by the Conservatives and Labour. For too long, governments have prioritised those who take more out of the country than they put in. Enough. Reform will end welfare handouts to foreign nationals. We will always be on the side of working people. We are favourites to win the next election. I take that responsibility very seriously. And Reform is building a team to turn our economy round. The government that I lead will not be full of career politicians, but people who've done things in the real world, who know how money is made and should be spent. Our team will be ready with a plan to make Britain once again the best place to start a business, raise a family, and build a future. I know what it's like to have to make a monthly payroll as a former small business owner. I will not let you down. This morning, people around Britain woke up feeling that the government is working against them. My promise is that a Reform government will work for the British people. Labour and the Conservatives broke Britain. Reform stands to fix Britain.
Nigel Farage's message here is crafted as a full-blown indictment of Britain's political establishment, and he delivers it with the precision of someone who knows his audience feels abandoned. His argument is simple but potent. The country is falling apart. Nothing works, and neither Labour nor the Conservatives are willing, or even capable, of fixing it. By listing stagnant growth, soaring energy prices, record high taxes, and spiraling debt, Farage builds a picture of a nation being slowly suffocated by mismanagement. Then, he pivots to a populist contrast. While ordinary people struggle, politicians in Westminster, whom he frames as clueless careerists with no real-world experience, continue to tax, regulate, and overpromise. The attack on Starmer and Reeves is deliberate, painting Labour as just a second version of the same failing model rather than a true alternative. And looming behind it all is Farage's central thesis. Britain needs a political reset, and Reform UK is the only force prepared to deliver it. By positioning himself as a businessman who understands payroll, immigration, and taxation from the ground up, Farage creates a narrative where he, not the current government, presents real competence. Whether one agrees or not, the rhetorical strategy is clear. Amplify public frustration, blame the old parties equally, then present reform as the inevitable answer to a country in free fall.
Trump clearly doesn't take any nonsense. Straight away, he said not only Afghans, but 19 other nations will be on a list, simply no entry. Donald Trump can do it there. Could that same thing be done in the United Kingdom?
Well, in a word, yes, Martin, because we've got a system where everybody other than a British or an Irish passport holder needs a permission to enter this country now. So you could withdraw those permissions, and you could do that through implementation of the visa system to say, to certain cohorts of people, be they from certain countries or certain cohorts you don't want here, that we're not going to issue you with a permission to come here anymore. Now, I've never seen a blanket ban on a country like the whole of a country is automatically banned, but technically it is possible. Of course, you will get the usual outcry from others who would say, well, this is outrageous, it's not sensible, it's not proportionate. You would probably get legal challenges, but in terms of technically doing it and stopping people coming into this country, yes, it is feasible.
So it's feasible, it's possible, but it's not likely because we don't have the political will to do it. Would there be resistance at present from our friends at the ECHR? And to do anything like this, to be a Trump in Britain, would we have to be out of the ECHR to make sure we have total sovereign control?
Well, so the problem you've got isn't so much with the legal routes and stopping the visas. I think that is within our purview.
Yeah.
I think the problem is with your irregular or illegal routes, which we talk about regularly, is that anybody who, is here or is coming here or makes it here will then invoke the ECHR. And that's been our biggest problem for a very long time now, Martin, is that once that is invoked, be it A3 or A8 of the article, of the ECHR, then we are powerless to remove them. We can't, the Border Force can't remove them from the country because it goes to the courts, and the courts make decisions and the tribunals make decisions. It's out of our hands. Now, if ultimately at the end of all that, the courts and decide we can remove them, we can go and arrest them and deport them. But even then, we've still quite often got to get the permission of the country they've come from to return them there and find a route to getting them back. So leaving the ACHR is a step in the right direction, but it's going to take a hugely bold political leader to take us to that point where we simply say we're going to detain and deport pretty well everybody that we don't want to come here illegally. That's a long way off, and it does require that kind of political leadership that we're seeing in America now, and we saw with Tony Abbott, frankly, down in Australia under Operation Sovereign Borders. He was vilified in Australia, by the press, by the media, the UNHCR, the legal fraternity, but he still did it. And I think Trump is taking a similar position. He's also going to be vilified in America for a lot of things he does, but he's just going to do it anyway because, well, it's in the interest of my people. I haven't seen that kind of political leadership here yet, either from either party, in terms of we've walked sort of halfway up the hill to toughening up our borders, but we haven't really gone the whole hog. And I think it is going to require that sort of leadership to take us there if that's what we want to do.